Time to come into this room for a Harvest Hastings meeting. There's tables here, but tonight we have banners, balloons, and other new faces here. So we want to introduce a new initiative that's taking place in partnership with Harvest Hastings, the Stewardship Councils, and the Bancroft and Area Forest Industry Association. And as well, the third thing, we will have our Harvest Hastings meeting. Shortly following this, we meet the third Thursday of every month. And so that's taking place. And we have Kathy Wood, who is here. Kathy is going to walk us through an update of the action plan for the Harvest Hastings initiative, where we're going in the future. So if you're interested in sticking around for that, please do so. The other thing I was thinking about is that it's been a few short years since the Bancroft and Area Forest Industry Association incorporated, as well as Harvest Hastings started just a few short years ago. And in that time, a number of volunteers have done some wonderful things to help promote local food and producers and what the agriculture sector is doing across Hastings County. And one of my favorite things is the website, forestry.ca. Consider it kind of this Wikipedia of all things local and local food and where to buy and so on. And I noticed from a recent report there has been 50,000 hits to that website in 2013. And that's a great accomplishment. 50,000 views of producers, farms, and other things related to agriculture across our county that otherwise wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for that website. And sometimes we get involved with these initiatives and we wonder, well, okay, is this really working? Okay, 50,000 hits and so on. What's the outcome? Well, a good example is a few years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago I think it was, previous neighbors of ours just in Belleville where we live, they're in the military. And they were talking to me about purchasing from a local farm in, I think it was around the Sterling or Madoc area. And I said to them, well, you're not from this area. How did you know to go and find that producer and connect with them? And they said, well, that was easy. We went to the Harvest Hastings website. So I said, oh, that's great. This is a good example of it working, and we connected them. And so it shows that, you know, the fruits of our labor, all the volunteers and members of Harvest Hastings. In the last year or so, Harvest Hastings has been connecting with BAFIA, the Bancroft and Area Forest Industry Association, and through the work with the Stewardship Council, to take it to another level where we want to encompass local foresters, sustainable harvested wood, and many other related wood products, and do even more to help in that regard. So to help with that, we have a new announcement or a new initiative to help take us to that next step, and that's why Todd Smith is here this evening, our MPP, to make an announcement. And I don't want to steal any thunder from what he's going to be saying. Last night, my Habs, they stole the thunder from the Lightning in Tampa Bay. So I will now call upon Todd Smith to come forward. And
it is great to be here. This is one of my favorite parts of being a member of provincial parliament, is presenting the Trillium Foundation grants. And let me first tell you about my experience with BAFIA. When I first heard of BAFIA and was attending my first meeting with them shortly after being elected in 2011, I had no idea what a BAFIA was. But as Andrew has indicated several times, it is the Bancroft Area Forestry Industry Association. And so I can understand why they say BAFIA, because that's quite a mouthful. Anyway, they are a wonderful bunch of people, mostly up in North Hastings, but I think they stretch all the way down here into Center Hastings. And they're doing great work up there. In North Hastings, they're struggling. There's a struggle there. And the forestry industry in general is struggling in Ontario right now for a number of reasons, and I'm not going to go too deep into those reasons. Maybe Larry will when he speaks. But you know, there's government policy, and there's just the global economy, and lots of things that are affecting the forestry industry in Ontario. Many sawmills across northern Ontario, and even in the Ottawa Valley, have shut down over the last couple of years. So BAFIA is a group that's making sure they're doing everything they can to sustain those jobs, keep those sawmills open, but even more importantly, when you meet these guys from BAFIA, they talk about how important it is that our forests remain sustainable, because that's their farmer's field. That's where they get their crop, and if it's not there, then they're definitely not going to be in business. So these guys really care about sustainability and making sure that the forests are as healthy as they possibly can be. So I give them full credit for that, and that's why I'm here, is to announce that BAFIA has received $193,300 for the next 3 years to promote sustainability for our forests. And they'll be doing a lot of great things, and Larry will tell you exactly what they plan to do with that money. But it's so important that we look after what we have here in Ontario, and it's groups like BAFIA that are going to make sure that we have a healthy and sustainable forest and forestry industry over many years. So I believe I'm probably presenting this to you, Larry McTaggart from BAFIA. Congratulations, come on up.
We called the initiative for the Trillium application a local wood initiative. The purpose of the local wood initiative was to tie in with our BAFIA organization, but also with harvesting. We're not up in North Hastings or even in Centre Hastings or even South Hastings cutting down trees for no good reason. We are there harvesting. As you weed your gardens, we have to weed our forests in order for them to be sustainable, in order for them to be productive. We can't just leave them, or they'll be susceptible to disease, to fire, to blowdowns, what have you. Our forests are our legacy that have been handed down by our forefathers, and we need to have people working in the forest. A forest is not something you can watch from the outside. Boots on the ground. With concern about greenhouse gas emissions and those, say, gas plants that might be a contributing factor to that, we have the ability, with our loss of previous markets for our low-end material, to provide that low-end material as a biomass feedstock to help with replacing our energy generation needs as a base load power. Not a sunny day, not a windy day load, but a base load power. And with that, it keeps our people working, it keeps our forests healthy, and we're harvesting, like Harvest Hastings is doing in agriculture. They are weeding the fields, they are growing product locally to sustain the local economy. We're trying to sustain the local economy in North Hastings. But we're all about education as well, and that's why we've partnered as well with stewardship councils. And we hope to use this grant to get the message out to our neighbors how they can participate in creating a sustainable environment through forestry and agriculture and local.
As well as thanking the province for the support, we thank our municipal governments, and I want to acknowledge a couple of key representatives here this evening. Owen Ketchison, the mayor of Centre Hastings, is here, and we thank Centre Hastings for their support. And of course, the County of Hastings, our warden Rick Phillips is here. And Rick, our warden, if you'd like to say anything on behalf of the county, I invite you to come forward at this point. So please.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, I just on behalf of the County of Hastings, I'd like to express our gratitude and thanks to the Ontario Trillium Foundation for their continued support to our county. This amazing grant allows the different agencies such as the Bancroft and Area Forest Industries Association and partners, Harvest Hastings, Bancroft Area Stewardship Council, and Hastings Stewardship Council to launch the Hastings Harvest Local Wood Initiative. This in turn will provide an opportunity for our local experts, such as Larry and many others, to share their knowledge in sustainable forestry and farming, stewardship of natural areas, energy efficiency, alternative energy, and living with nature. The Ontario Trillium Foundation works very hard to build healthy and vibrant communities in our area, and we're very thankful for their support regarding this project and the many others that they are involved in. And so my thanks goes to them, and my thanks to Larry for the hard work and for all of you that you do for our community.
At this point, I just wanted to mention we have the stewardship councils, of course, very much involved. Steve Wilkins, he's the chair of the Bancroft and Area Stewardship Council. He couldn't attend this evening, but we do have Charles Robinson, who is the chair of the Hastings Stewardship Council. Thank you for coming. And we do have Roger Kelly, vice chair of the Bancroft and Area Stewardship Council. And Roger, I understand you would like to bring some greetings or just say thank you on behalf of the Stewardship Council, so now's the opportunity.
Thank you, Andy. Part of the Bancroft Area Stewardship Council mission is to empower and encourage local citizens to get involved with stewardship of natural resources. And one of the means by getting people involved is through education. And this project, which we just received Trillium funding for, has a significant educational component to it. And through that, we will reach out to communities and encourage homeowners, for example, to consider energy conservation in their homes, woodlot owners to sustainably harvest their woodlots. And there's also programs aimed at youth. And it is important to reach out to youth because those young people are going to be stewards of our natural resources in the future. BAFIA already has a program for older students called Forestry Day, and it's very successful. And an offshoot from that is another program that is just in the works now. Virginia DeCarlo is working on that, and it is aimed at taking information into schools and reintroducing young people to the natural world. And she is going to have a hands-on program that will take students out into the forest and so that they can reattach to what's going on out there. And the more they know about their natural world, the better stewards they will be in the future. So part of this program that the funding is going towards is going to be aimed at those young people. And I thank you very much for that funding because I think we can do good things with it in Hastings County. Thank you.
I just also want to acknowledge the chair of Harvest Hastings, Jennifer Nash, who is here. Thank you for all of your efforts. Quite a bit of work on Facebook as well and all the tweets, so thank you very much for doing that. As well as Louise Livingston, the coordinator of Harvest Hastings, and I know Louise will be very involved with this new initiative as well, so thank you very much, Louise. And I want to acknowledge the mayor of Tweed, Joanne Albert, who has just come in, so thank you very much. Everybody for being here. Everybody's special. There's a number of people I could name. But at this point, I think we can wrap it up and mention that there is cake. It's a Trillium cake. So